Good evening and welcome back to the Metro Detroit Poker Series, bringing you the 2023 Tournament of Champions. I am your host, Terry Prince. With me today is our official paper product supplier and multiple-time champion, Ken Moore.
Good evening, Terry.
This is our qualification event. You have to cash during the season or be a wild card entry to qualify to play in it. 53 people did qualify. 45 actually showed up. We ended up with a $6,181 prize pool for this event. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll get right into this with our player seating. Seat number 1 today, Joe DeFore.
Good player.
Seat number 2, Jim Burchess. Seat number 3, Tim Reindell. Seat number 4 is Mike Reibling.
We're getting to see him a lot.
Seat number 6, Brian Stoltz. Seat number 7, our short stack specialist, Gary Gualtieri.
Of course.
In seat number 8, Jim Eichbrecht.
There you go. Nice photo.
In seat number 9, Regularity's Final Tables brings the aces, Bob Williamson.
Yeah, he always has those.
And our seat number 10, Pat Miller.
Good table.
Here's our chip counts to start this final table of 9. Brian out in the lead with 100,000. He's got twice as many as the second place number, Tim at 50,000. Jim Burchess and Bob down there at the bottom need to double up or get up pretty soon.
Big advantage for the top 3 or 4 players.
Bring you our hand number 1. We're at 500 and 1,500 blinds with a 1,500 chip big blind ante. Mike Reibling will be first to act.
I don't see him doing nothing with that.
We go. Yep, 10-4 offsuit. That's likely end up in the muck. There it goes, the good buddy hand. Brian looks down at 6 deuce, also in the muck. Ace rag for Gary. 8-3 for Bob.
4 cards. Way to start. Yeah.
Good starting hands
There we
here
go.
for everybody. Jim in the small blind looks down at ace jack offsuit. And he does get it all in.
I was going to say, with some of those chip stacks, I figured there'd be a lot of early action.
And he's going to take down the blinds and antes after Tim folds his king deuce. We're underway.
Pretty bad when King Deuce was actually the second best hand at the table.
Gary first to act here with Jack 4.
More action.
That's the flat tire hand with the Jack 4. Actually, I guess now it's called the Robbie.
I've never heard, really.
Yeah, because of the incident that happened at the Hustler Casino Live last year. She called down a big bluff with Jack 4. And, yeah, there was some cheating allegations and all that stuff going on. The Robbie or a flat tire hand. When do you take your pick? Jack 4.
I like the flat tire, yeah.
At any rate, Jim calls the big blind with pocket 9s. Catches a board of 5-3 deuce 2 spades.
Yeah. I'd like that if I was the 9s.
Yeah, it's a pretty good hand for 9s. Pretty good flop for 9s, I should say. Everybody else, nobody caught any part of it.
Nobody raised, I don't believe.
Brian's got an open ender. Mike checked and Brian bets out 5,000. And Mike and Jim both fold, so he's going to take this down with his open ender. A little surprised the pocket 9s folded on him.
Yeah, I am too.
Jim looked down at 7-5 now and under the gun.
I do like the pocket 9s. So.
Folds those. Bob folds.
The cards are...
Jim's looking down at Doyle. 10 deuce.
Cards aren't cooperating too much here early. A lot of very mediocre hands to get in.
2-3 for Brian and the small blind. I figure he's going to at least call.
I would think. A raise would be quite aggressive.
Good chance to steal here, though. Talking it out with Gary. does make the call.
Gary convinced him not to raise.
Gary's got king 6 offsuit, so he checks it. We're going to see a flop of
Wow.
3, 4, 6.
A little action there.
Brian's got a pair of 3s. Gary's got a pair of 6s.
And a low board. Both those are nice hits.
Brian min bets 1,500. Gary makes the call. See an 8 of clubs on the turn. Doesn't help either player. Gary's way out in the lead here.
Clubs will slow things down, maybe.
They both check it. Got a 9 of hearts on the river. Gary's got the check mark for this one. They both check it down.
Yeah.
Never again, Gary. Never
Gary's going to take down the pot.
That's how you do it. Big blind, hit your 6, and get out of there.
Yep. Just completing our first orbit now. Hand number 9. Still at 500 and 1,500 blinds. Folds around to Mike with ace 6 offsuit, and into the muck it goes. All the way back around to Pat with king queen.
Well, Pat's definitely going to play that.
Yeah, on the button, he's going to put some chips in here. Raises it up to 3,500, but Joe looks down at ace jack. Makes the call. 10-7 for Jim. 2,000 more to play. Probably throw those away.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play.
Ace or
Yeah,
not
hits his
ace,
jack.
4 deuce jack. Joe hits a jack. Top pair, top kicker. He checks the Pat, who bets 4,000, and Joe comes over the top all in.
Yeah, that was
And that's going to do it.
foreseeable.
Yep. He's going to take this one down. Pat gets out of the way quickly.
I can't imagine him wanting to see another card for any reason.
Mike looks down at Dolly Parton, 9-5. Another 9.
What a sad-looking starting hands to get this table going, that's for sure.
Pat's got Jack 10 offsuit from the cutoff.
I could see him coming in.
He's thinking about it. Double checks him. Reaches for chips.
It's a good hand for a player like Pat.
Makes it 3,500 to go. Joe gets out of the way quickly. Jim folds his 7-6. What's Tim gonna do? Makes the call with Queen 10. So Pat's not looking too good here. But flops a jack. Here we go with jack
Hey,
again.
the jacks are hitting.
Tim checks. He's got backdoor straight draw.
He hasn't got a heart. He's the only one with a heart. Pat is.
Pat bets out 4,000. Takes the bone the pot.
Yeah. Very fortunate. Based on the starting hands.
Yeah, the worst hand found a way to win that one.
Well, it was still a decent hand, but
Yeah, but he was dominating.
they both
Only
had
the one live
They
card.
shared the tens,
Yeah.
yeah, and he was dominated with the queens. So. There we go.
Gary folds ace 9 off.
Really?
He was in early position.
It's still, I mean, the blinds aren't that big.
Lots of crappy cards, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
This final table, there's not been a lot of good playable hands. Got another one here where it's a battle of the
Let's
blinds.
see who wants to represent the king.
Yeah, nobody hit that any good. Well, a pair of 8s for Tim, so he does bet out with the minimum 1,500. Find out where he's at.
I can't see Mike doing anything here.
You know, Mike does make the folds because he had none of that and only like 6% chance to win with what he had. Well, let's hope these.
And he's up against a good player too. I mean, if you're going to lead out in that position,
Let's hope some of these hole cards start to get a little bit better.
yeah, they've been pretty ragged.
Gary looks down at good buddy again, 10-4.
Well, it was dominating.
Doyle for Jim. That goes into muck as well. There's our king jack off. Pat raises to 3,500.
Pat likes his jacks.
Jim and Tim get out of the way quickly and over to Mike with 5-4. That goes away. And Brian looks down at ace 9 from the big blind, makes the call for
I would
2,000
think so.
more.
Yeah.
Gonna see a flop now. Still lots of mediocre starting hands.
Oh, king. Both of these guys got a decent starting hand. Based on the ones that have come before them.
It's true. True. We get a 3, a king, and a 9, 2 hearts. Brian catches a pair of 9s. Pat catches a pair of kings. This could get interesting.
Hearts ain't working for nobody.
Brian checks. Pat bets out 4,000. Brian makes the call. Turn card
Who's?
is a 5 of
Oh,
clubs.
there we go.
Doesn't help anybody.
King should bet.
Pat counts out chips. Makes it 6,500 to go.
He's going to regret that.
Brian folds.
What?
Kings were better than 9s. Makes the right fold. You were waiting for the ace on the river, weren't you?
Of course. I was thinking he was playing up against me.
Bob under the gun with king queen with the short stack. Probably going to shove it
Yeah,
here.
oh, yeah.
And he does. Lines did go up. We're at 1,000, 2,000, 2,000 now. Bob shoved for 14,000 altogether. All the way around.
Sure, he wouldn't mind a little action.
Yeah,
here.
well, Tim woke up with king jack of spades. So I'll bet he's going to get action here.
Should be. I'm not quite sure what Tim's stack is here, but
He's got quite a bit there.
it's giving him a headache.
Yeah, say like he's going to get a migraine thinking about this one.
I don't know. The play's been
The
pretty
ace
slow.
folds.
Really?
Uh-oh, there's why.
Oh, there, why you knew
Gary's
Gary.
got pocket queens.
Yeah.
So
Good fold by Tim at this point. I mean, they were splitting that king. So
that must have been what he was doing. He was mind reading.
I don't know what it is. It worked.
So Gary's got pocket queens, and he's going to make the call here, and we're going to see a flop with Bob at risk. Bob's only got one live card with the king, so his queen is dead. He's going to be drawing pretty slim to 3 outs, or runners for a straight or a flush.
It's always dangerous to see Bob get chips. Too.
Yeah, there's the
That
case queen.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Well, no king for Bob, so he's going to be eliminated by Gary. Bob is our 9th place finisher. Takes down $180.
Wasn't a whole lot he could do.
No, that was the first good hand he saw. He shoved it in. Just got
Didn't have a lot to work
got
with.
unlucky when he ran into
I don't-
pocket queens, which had one of his overcard, one of his outs as
I
well.
don't see anybody that wouldn't have played it like that. There's nothing he could do.
We're down to 8-handed, still at 1-2-2 blinds. And
Hey, we're seeing some aces here.
Brian makes the call with ace 6 offsuit. Joe makes the call with pocket 7s. Queen 10 for Jim. He's going to fold that.
Oh,
Folds.
so we got a pocket pair.
7s against ace 6 and ace jack 10 rainbow flop. Brian catches top pair. And not a good flop for pocket 7s.
Brutal.
Brian going to bet out 5,000. Joe quickly folds.
Yeah.
Yep, not a good flop at all when you got a medium low pocket pair like
Well,
this. You see nothing but paint on the flop.
At least getting in didn't cost him too much. He didn't have to call a decent raise to come in there with his pair. So
True. Gary looks down at Big Lick, 6-9. From under the gun, that's definitely in the muck.
suited. Mhm. There we go.
Ace Jack for Pat. Gonna reach for some chips.
How many times does Pat show up at these games with ace jack in his pocket? Or?
He seems to get good hands better than most.
That ace jack seems to be his calling cards, almost like your pocket fives.
Raises up to 4,500. Folds around to Mike with 8-7 of spades. Another 3,500 to call for Mike. He's in the small blind. And Mike does fold his suited connector, and Brian looks down at K9. King 9 offsuit.
Oh, you're gonna tag along.
Makes the call for 2,500 more. We see a flop. Ace 4-4, 2 diamonds. Pat catches top pair again. They both check.
I'm amazed Pat didn't get a jack.
I'm amazed he didn't bet. He's going to let Brian do the betting now. He jumps out, but because he caught a pair of nines, so now he's got to figure those nines are probably pretty good. After Pat checked back the flop. So Pat's got Brian wherever he wants him.
Yeah, he's slowing his roll here too, so
Makes the call for 4,500. He's going to roll the dice.
you're gonna let him come in.
10 of hearts. Puts 3 hearts on the flop or on the board.
Yeah, but with
Pat's got the best hand.
only one heart on the flop, I can't see somebody staying in to catch a runner
Right,
heart.
exactly.
Just-
Brian did check, so Pat's going to bet out.
Yeah, I would too.
Too much, and now I got yelled at for not helping enough. I was zoning out right there for a second. I was counting my
Make it
chips.
here. Wants to get Brian to come along to call him off. But Brian doesn't call the 6,500 chip bet, and Pat's going to take down that pot for 21,000 chips. Couldn't get Brian to go to Value Town.
It's a nice pot.
Not such a nice hand for Jim. 7 deuce.
Yeah.
7-5 for Pat.
A lot of people have been card dead here for majority of this table so far.
Joe looks down at ace 10 offsuit.
Joe,
Raises up to 6,500.
Joe would like him an ace 10.
Ace jack for Jim.
Uh-oh.
Jim contemplating what to do here.
Jim usually has no problem getting his chips in the middle.
There you go. All in for 13,500. Tim quickly folds.
It'll be tough for Joe.
Back around to Joe to make the call.
It's for most of his chips that he's got left.
He's dominated too. Does make the call. We're going to see some action here on the flop. Ace jack versus ace 10. Jim's a
Joe needs a lot of help.
2.5 to 1 favorite here. Jack,
He
queen,
gets a
10. They both hit. A king would give them both a straight. Nope, no doing.
That's rough.
Yep, they both hit their pair, but of course the jacks are higher than the 10s. Jim gets the double up. Much needed for him, but it puts a serious dent in Joe's stack.
Yeah. Joe gets a little reprieve here.
Yep, looks down at ace king suited, raises to 7,000.
The way his luck is going, he won't get any callers.
Way around to
Here we
Brian
go.
with pocket queens.
Gonna give ourselves some action now.
Yep, for sure. Brian contemplating what to do here with still action behind him.
I wonder if, with Joe just losing a hand there, I wonder if he'd push them all in.
It's a reasonable thing. He wants to bet the others out, but he doesn't. He just makes the call. Gary's got an 8 and something else. He didn't show the camera both of his cards.
Yeah, one of them being an 8.
Yeah, he gets out of the way.
Even if the other one was
Jim,
an
of course, got 8 deuce, so he's not going to come along. So
8.
here we go, heads up to the flop. Queens versus ace king. No spades for Joe, so he's not going to get there that way. 3, 5, 6.
Oh,
Joe goes all in.
Oh
and
my.
Brian insta calls. Wow, so still got the queens versus
Man.
2 overs,
Oh,
jack of
he's still alive.
spades, and
Oh.
6 of clubs, not going to do it. Brian takes down this pot 54,000, and Joe is going to be our 8th place finisher. Makes $200.
Not bad.
On to 7-handed. Still at 1-2-2 blinds.
Yeah, Jim's gonna get some more chips in here.
Snowmen for Jim, pocket 8s. Can't check, he folds.
Wow.
Under the gun with 8s, and he just folds them.
Maybe he likes those chips he just brought in. He wants to keep them.
Doesn't even limp.
I.
Oh, maybe he knew this was coming.
What is all this mind reading going on?
I know. This is like the second time we've seen a fold with a pocket pair behind.
Yeah,
It's
just before it.
absolutely dominating. Wow. Oh, Tim picked a bad spot to raise with his ace-4 because Mike comes all over the
He comes
top
out
with all in for 12-5 with his pocket kings.
You have to get better cards than we're seeing for a call here.
Tim's thinking with his ace-4 offsuit against pocket kings.
You better keep thinking.
Keeps looking at Mike saying, give me a hint. What do you got? He's still debating. To me, this is kind of an easy fold, but
I would agree. Been a while since Tim's played a hand. Maybe he's just getting a little antsy over there. And he's coming.
puts in the chips, 7,500 more.
Yeah.
And he's going to find out he's got 1 over and a wheel draw. Down and see the flop.
See where the luck is going to
7-7-3. Queen of hearts. There's 3 hearts out there. Or he hits the flush. Wow, it's flush over flush. Ace high flush versus king high flush, and the kings are cracked. Mike goes out. You can see how embarrassed Tim is to win that
be.
hand.
It's the way those cards have been going here.
Mike goes out in 7th for $235. Tim just shakes his head.
Kings is one of the best hands we've seen. We did see pocket aces, but
No, we didn't see aces. We've
I
seen
thought
queens.
we did. I thought we
We've
saw
seen
aces
queens.
earlier. I thought
Jim's got ace-9, goes in for his last 3,500. Don't blame him for that.
Pat with a jack, you know, he's going to do something.
And a king to go with it, and they're
I
suited.
swear.
10s for Jim. He's certainly makes the call, and Brian with queen 4.
You get a little more than heads up action here.
And Jim was so short stacked, he wasn't going to scare anybody off, but I'm not sure he wanted 5 callers. All the way around for just another 1,500. Everybody comes along. And
There's your ace.
ace 6 deuce rainbow. Jim picks up top pair. Nobody else got any help. 3 of clubs. Brian's got a gutter straight draw. Another ace of hearts. So Jim going to take this down, even though he didn't want 4 callers, but it worked out for him. Brian's betting out here with his pair of nothing. I'm not sure what he's betting out for. Everybody folds, and Brian's going to win the empty side pot. Jim's taking this one down.
It's been pretty quiet for Jim.
So what do you think about that move? Where Brian bets out into no side pot with a player all in and 3 other players behind.
I don't see the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I don't. There's no benefit to it, and the only thing, the worst possible thing you could do, is bet out somebody with a better hand that just might have happened to have beat the guy that was all in,
I understand.
but it wasn't that good.
I understand Brian's got the chips to slash around, but
Yeah, I don't like that move because it's negative EV if you ask me, because you're getting people out of the pot that might have a possibility of beating the player that's all in, especially when you've got nothing, which is what he had.
I would have loved to have been able to ask him at the time. What was the reasoning?
But it didn't matter in that particular case because Jim had the best hand.
Yeah.
But you see that somebody might have a weak pair or something, and they get out of the way, and then it turns out that the player that was all in only had ace high, and then ends up winning the hand.
I can't remember who did it in one of the last couple tournaments, and same move. And I remember the person that was being done to looking at me like,
Yeah.
why did that happen?
I don't. To me, that's a negative EV play. Anyway, we just let that last hand go by, so hopefully our listeners and our viewers saw that one because we didn't.
Jim's happy.
Brian looks down at ace six here, calls a 2,000 blind. Gary with 8-3. I'm sure that's going in the muck.
Gary hasn't been able to get in on the last several hands.
Another big lick for Jim, 6-9 off or hearts in the muck. There's a jack for Pat, and he's going to come along.
Of course he is.
And Jim checks his option. Dolly Parton, 9-5 offsuit. Our flop is 3-10-10,
No.
rainbow,
No jack for Pat.
no nothing for nobody.
What happened?
Check, check, check. Checks around, and we're
Yes.
going to see a river, or a turn card has 8 of clubs. Nothing for
A
nobody
friendly
again. And a 5 of diamonds on the end. Jim picks up a pair of 5s. Pat checks to him. Jim's going to bet out 6,000
Should
or
work.
5,000, and Brian makes the call with his ace high and just donated 5,000 chips to Jim.
You lost to a pair of fives?
Push him in. So there you go.
Brian's pretty generous here with his chips here lately.
It's like the players are about to go on break, and we're going to chip up the chips and take off the 500s. So they'll be coming back from break and up our next blind level. See here now our updated chip counts going into the next level.
Brian's still way out in front.
At 114, almost got twice as much as Tim.
Tim is doing pretty good.
Pat, Gary, all kind of together there. Our blinds are now up to 1,000, 3,000, 3,000. Jim looks down at ace deuce and puts 15,000 all in the middle. Pat with king, queen of spades. Pat puts his chips in. Jim looks down at queen 8 offsuit. Jim folds. Tim looks down at king 5, also folds. Brian with king 10 now.
Oh, Brian's been not shy about getting some chips in there, so.
Now he's thinking about it, but finally folds. So we're heads up. Jim's all in with ace deuce against the king queen of Pat, and Jim picks up a deuce. Jack and 4. So the pair of deuces hold up. Jim doubles up to 37,000.
That's good for him. He's been pretty card dead for the most part. He's had to play some pretty weak hands. It's paid off for him.
Brian under the gun with ace queen of hearts.
Wow.
Gotta think poker's going up here.
I don't think he's going to be folding this.
Nope, raises to 8,000.
Huh?
Over to Jim. 9-7 of hearts. Makes the call.
Oh, boy.
He was in the big blind, so he got a discount.
He likes those hearts.
No hearts on the flop, though. Deuce, jack, 6, 2 clubs. Neither player has any of those suits because they both have hearts. Brian bets out. That's good enough to take down the
all there
pot.
is to it.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. Good old continuation bet.
Poker is so easy.
It's really easy when you know what everybody
really.
else has got.
All you got is bet and playing chips.
Gary now with jack 7 of hearts.
First to act.
Under the gun. Double checking. Into the muck they go. Jim folds 7-4.
Well,
Pat folds, Jim folds.
these starting hands have been brutal.
Tim's got good buddy, 10-4, makes the call for a discount. Brian checks his 6-5. We got 3-8 deuce rainbow. Neither one hit anything, but Tim's going to bet out.
You better hope he doesn't hit a 4.
It doesn't matter. He wins. He had the best
Nice.
hand. 10 high. And he won.
Domination.
See, that's what we said earlier. Just got to bet out.
This guy, poker's easy.
Just make that bet and you win the pot. Just like that.
Oh,
Pat under the gun with ace deuce, folds it right away.
Yeah, I would too.
They're not suited.
I still would have told him.
Folds over to Brian with king 7. Raises it up to 8,000 from the button.
Brian likes his kings.
You know there's a camera too, right?
Jim looks down at suited connectors, 9-10 from the big blind.
Alright.
He likes to play.
Yeah. Makes the call for 5,000 more. We'll see a flop. 9-10-8. Jim catches two pair. Brian's got an open ender.
He got spades out there too.
And 3 spades ought to slow everything down. Brian's got the second nut flush
Yeah.
draw and an open-ended straight draw. Jim's got top 2 pair.
Yeah,
Boy, this could get exciting.
I think.
Yeah, Brian bets out 16,000 after Jim checked.
Yeah, Jim should be pushing that all in. I know he's worried about the spades, but
There he goes.
yeah, he's gonna get a call.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. All in and the quick call. It's pretty even here. There's a king and an 8. So Brian counterfeited Jim's 2 pair. The board paired and Jim got counterfeited with the king.
Yeah.
King 2 pair, higher 2 pair.
gosh, I've had that happen to me a few times.
So Jim goes out in 6th place, $295.
You almost got to check it twice to see if it's correct.
Yeah, that's a rough run out.
Yeah,
Run
it
a
is.
runner for that.
You think you got it? And
So here we are. We're still at 1-3-3. We're down to 5-handed now.
Pat doesn't have a jack, he'll fold.
Gary just making sure he showed the camera his cards.
You know why I moved? Because there's Dallas.
He's almost as bad as I am at that.
Folds over to Tim with ace deuce. He's counting out chips to make a raise. Goes up to 12,000.
Uh-oh. Got the Terry hand.
Brian's got pocket 5s. Brian was the one that coined that as being my favorite.
Is that right?
Yeah. So he makes the call of.
And look at that.
Oh, and look at that. He hit Terry's set too. But 3 hearts on the board means Tim's not going anywhere because he's got the nut flush draw. So Tim bets out 9,000. Brian goes all in, and
Yeah, he
Tim
could also,
insta calls.
he could also boat up on him here.
Yep. So this is going
His
to be
flop stay low.
a crazy run out here. Needs a heart. 9 of diamonds ain't going to do it.
No, that's nothing. Here we go.
And a 10 of
Nothing.
clubs.
His trips are holding up.
Yep. And Tim going to go out in 5th place.
Pocket 5s. It's a deadly hand.
Yeah, Brian will not play a flop with me if there's a 5 on the flop.
Not when he coined it, he is
Yeah.
afraid of it.
Yep. So Tim Reindell out in 5th for $385.
Fear the 5, huh?
Pat now Queen 10. And this is where face cards start to get a whole lot more valuable when you're down to 4-handed like this. You get you got to open up your range even more.
He raised it up.
Jim folds and Brian's got 7-6 offsuit. He makes the call real quick.
Raise wasn't
It's just a
Beyond.
5,000 chips.
beyond his range to call.
Well, no, he's the
Reposition.
monster chip leader. A king 10 queen flop. Pat flop 2 pair.
Pat likes
Raises it
that.
5 again. Yeah, Pat's got this locked up now. It's 2 pair. Brian's drawing dead. Pat makes a bet. Brian says nope. Out of the way he goes. Pat takes that down.
Yeah, flops have been very nice for Pat tonight.
So, we're 46 hands into this final table.
Well, Jim will get some
Still
chips in
5-handed. Pocket nines for Jim, all in for 23,000.
Brian likes to play with an ace. He's got the chips to call.
Yeah, but that's a bad kicker. I'm not sure I like to play one over card.
Yeah.
Double somebody up. But he does make the call with ace 7. Gary folds. Gary and Pat fold. We're going to have a showdown. Ace high versus pocket nines. 3-5 queen. 6 and a 4. Oh my goodness, he hits the gutter ball straight to the 7, and Brian is just running crazy hot. Wow.
Poor Jim.
Takes Jim out. $535 for 4th place on a runner straight.
What are you going to do, though? In that position, you're going to have to push with those nines.
Oh, yeah. He couldn't have, Jim couldn't have done anything different.
Gary's got a pair. He's going.
Oh.
The way Brian's been running, he'll call.
Right? Just about any 2 cards. Pocket 6s for Gary, all in for 24,000. Brian makes the call, 21 more.
Probably should get quad queens here.
Gary's not quite a 2-1 favorite. King, ace 4. 4 and 7. Sixes hold up.
Day for Gary.
Brian gets a dent in his armor.
Yeah, he's got a lot of armor over there.
Yes, he does. He's definitely the chip leader by a long shot. We're still at 1-3-3. It's 56 hands into this final table.
Well, Gary doesn't have to play that.
Gary does fold his jack rag, and king 3 for Pat. Shoves all in. Brian calls quickly with king queen, which I don't blame him for that. Dominating Pat.
How much did he push in there?
We didn't get a chip count on that. Ace of hearts right in the window. 6-9 doesn't help anybody. 7, Pat needs another heart.
Yeah.
And there it is. So Pat's going to double up with runner hearts. He comes back. He was halfway out the door. Got to count it out now. Pat gets the double up.
Nice hand.
60 hands in now, and our blinds are up. 2,000, 4,000 with a 4,000 chip big blind ante. Pat raises to 10,000 with ace 3. Brian's got 3 deuce. I can't imagine he's going to stick around with that.
Yeah, Gary. You might want some action here.
Yep, queen 10. 6,000 more to call for Gary.
Sure, why not? There we go.
There you go. He shoves all in, actually.
Wow.
Pat makes the call. Wasn't much more.
The aces has been holding up tonight. I'd be a little worried if I were Gary.
5 of diamonds. There's an ace right in the door.
That pretty almost seals it. There you go.
That did seal it right there, yep. And Gary is going to be eliminated.
Seems like
Aces
those
and fives for
those small aces have been hitting all night.
Gary goes out $780 for his effort, 3rd place. And here's our chip counts going into heads up play.
Barely.
Yep, not too bad. Pat's a little behind, but 1 pot will take care of that.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a domination at any stretch of the imagination.
Everybody was going in with ace rag almost all night. Was getting that ace 4 hits an ace, ace 2 hits an ace. It's
Well, the ace deuce. Remember, Jim had ace deuce. He won it with the deuce.
been this is true.
Deuce. So Brian's got ace 4. Pat's got king 3. Call,
Here we
raise,
go.
call.
Look of the heads up here.
Queen, ace, deuce, all spades.
Is that ace again?
Nobody's got a spade. Brian's got top pair. And the backdoor wheel draw. Pat bets out
No spades for Brian.
Pat's also got a backdoor wheel draw. Out 22K and Brian makes the call. 5 of diamonds. Now they both have a wheel draw.
Yes.
Brian needs Pat's 3 and Pat needs Brian's 4.
I wonder if they're going to see that last card cheap.
Pat's hoping to. He checks it. Brian says
Brian,
nope.
Nope, not with a pair of aces.
45,000 into the pot.
Pair of aces.
Big bet. But it's about half the pot. The pot was a little under
He's
90.
basically saying, if you don't have it, I'm not going to let you get it. Tough call for Pat.
Yeah, I mean, he knows he's got to be afraid of the ace. His only draw is a gutter shot.
Yeah.
Is a gut shot to the wheel.
He has to know his king's no
Yeah,
good, even
so-
if he hits a king.
Right. So he does
So,
ultimately make the fold. And there was no way he was making a call. Pat's a better player than that. He's not gonna put that
With
many
ace
chips
on
at
the
risk
roll.
for a gut shot draw.
You can't hope you hit the wheel or you hit the king or
How good are you gonna be hitting?
right. You'd had to know that.
65 hands now for this final table.
It's got him on the ropes here a little bit.
7-6 versus Queen 5.
Well, there's 7.
Pat spikes a 7, but the ace is going to slow things down with 2 clubs, and
2 clubs.
Brian's got clubs locked. Check, check. 10 of spades. Pat's going to take a shot at it. Bets out 12K.
Yeah, as he should.
Yeah, Brian's not going to go anywhere for that. Makes the call. 56,000 in the pot. 10 of diamonds.
Didn't change a whole lot.
Nope. Pat's pair of 7s is good. Brian did not hit his flush, but is he going to bet out at it? Pat checks. Give Brian a chance to bluff.
Well, I wonder how big he's going to go.
Brian bet out 32,000 and Pat insta-called and going to take it down.
Nice call.
So, yep, he gave him a chance to bluff at it. And then
Well played by Pat on that hand.
called him, took down the pot. Pat's got big lick suited, 6-9 clubs. Brian looks down at 10-9 offsuit. Pat raises to 16,000 with that 6-9. Brian makes the call.
And he's ahead.
I guess he probably did that because they were suited. I can't imagine
Yeah, there's the
any other
9.
reason. They both
They
spike
both-
a 9.
They'll hit a 9.
Yep.
This could be trouble for Pat.
This may be a chop pot.
Might be. I was just looking at that.
Because Brian, if another face card comes off, Brian's kicker won't play either. So 3 of diamonds is low, so that's gonna 10 kickers still in play here. Check it.
And those do.
Yeah, no face cards. That 10 plays, and Brian's got the 100% there.
Should check on the-
They both check
yeah.
on. Brian's gonna take it down. 76,000 chip pot.
Nice.
Yep.
Neither one of these guys are
Pat
afraid.
wanted a big card to come out, so he didn't have kicker problems, but it was not to be.
Yeah, neither of these guys are afraid to bet. So, Pat, nice hand.
Pocket 8s versus Queen 7 clubs.
Heads up. That's
8s make it 20 to go. Brian calls for 16 more. Going to a flop.
I hope he doesn't see any clubs out there. Yeah.
And an 8
Uh-oh.
right in the window. Flop's a full
folks.
house.
Oh my!
Wow. Flop's a full house.
Now he's got to hope to get some clubs.
Brian's got a 1% shot. Not anymore. he could have made a straight flush.
He's gonna give us a stab at it.
But, well, yeah. Flop a boat. I'm going to let Brian bluff. I've already proven he can do it a couple of times.
Sure,
He's
this will just be a call.
bluffed at it and won, bluffed at it and lost. Clubs doesn't change anything.
All right, Brian will slow down. Yeah, of course. This will be an easy fold.
Yeah,
There it
Pat
goes.
doesn't even get. Yeah, Pat didn't even get a bet out.
No,
He just
he-
started counting out chips, and Brian's like, "Yep, I'm gone."
Once he takes chips across the red
Pat
line,
don't show
he's
either.
committed, right?
No,
So he couldn't have said no bet.
but you know that Brian will be anxious to see it when the video is done.
I'd want to show that. Yeah, I'd want to show you.
This has not been a lacking of action here at the heads up match. We're now at 77 hands in.
You got two players who like to get the chips in the middle.
Yep, there's definitely been no shortage of action here.
Pat's got a jack in his hand. Look out.
King Jack versus Ace 4 of Hearts.
Here comes Jack. Watch.
3 of Hearts in the window.
Oh,
6 deuce, 2 hearts now.
what a flop for Brian.
Yep, he's got the best hand going in with the ace still.
He's
Ace
got the
high
hearts,
is good,
he's got
and
the
the nut
straight-
flush draw.
He's got everything.
He's got the straight flush draw
Yeah,
with the
he's
5
got-
of hearts.
He's got everything going on.
He bets out 21,000, and Pat calls with just 2
Pat
overs.
calls.
But well, he's got 2 overs. He's got to take another shot at it. 6 outs.
No,
6 of diamonds doesn't do anything. Pairs the board.
still favors Brian.
Brian made a bet, and Pat folded. And here we are now, pocket 6s versus queen 7. Pat just calls now.
Yeah,
That's kind of strange. Pat's been very aggressive, and now he just calls.
Queen 7 isn't.
Well, no, but remember he raised with 6-9. So now Brian raises to 18,000 with his pocket 6s. Pat does make the call. Ace, ace 5, 2 hearts. That'll slow things down.
Yeah, so I think this king might slow things down too.
And bets out again, and Pat folds again.
That's how it works.
Our blinds are up now, 3,000, 6,000 with a 6,000 chip ante.
A lot of hands been won with the first to bet here.
Brian calls this big
Careful
from
much about the money.
with 7 deuce, and Pat's got big lick again. So both have
Yeah.
2 crappy cards, 2 crappy hands, and a crappy flop. So this hits their range pretty good. Nobody have hit it,
They'll
of
probably
course.
both go all in.
Yeah. Nobody hit anything. Pat's 9 high is still good, but Brian has a flush draw.
Sorry. It's been a while, so I figured you probably did.
So Brian bets his flush draw, and he's going to take it down. Yep. That was a good bet.
I mean, I don't win. I want to win.
Ace deuce versus Jack 10 now.
There's Pat with a jack, always dangerous.
Raises it up to 21,000. Brian makes the call. His ace high.
There it is.
Flops ace high with a wheel draw.
Ace is on the flop.
And checks. Let Pat bet out 16,000. And does the old check raise maneuver.
Yeah, I should tell him right where he's at.
Yep. Makes it 40,000 to go, and
Yeah,
Pat gets out of the way pretty quickly.
a little disgusted that he took a stab at that.
95 hands in now to this
Nice.
final table.
Yeah, well, a couple aces here.
Are we going to break 100? I don't know. Ace versus ace. This could be it. Ace 7 suited for Pat. Ace
Yeah.
3 offsuit for Brian.
I don't see him being shy of putting some chips in here.
I don't think we've ever had a final table go this high, 95 hands.
100 hands, well close. I wonder if Brian will call it all in with an ace 3.
Pat's counting out his chips, and he does finally go all in, and
Oh, he makes
Brian
the call.
makes the call.
Oh,
So
three.
here we go. I said they might get all in with this.
We're up out of our chairs here. Could be a 3.
5 in the window and a
There.
3 in the door.
There it is.
Yep, there's a 3. Brian picks up the pair of 3s.
It's 6.
Needs a 6 or a 7. Another 3.
Aw,
Trips for Brian. It's going to do it.
well done.
Yep, he's going to take it down. Pat, going to be our second place finisher.
That big stack he had at the start of the final table made him a hard beat.
$1,185 for Pat for second place. $1,915 from Brian
And a TOC
and
win.
a TOC championship.
Very good. Well done.
Here is our final standings for the night. For Ken Moore, I'm Terry Prince. Thank you for watching. See you next time in the Metro Detroit Poker Series. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.